So if you have MCAS, mast cell activation syndrome, or a histamine intolerance issue, the question is, and it's possibly caused by benzo withdrawal, by getting off of benzodiazepines, which have been shown in some studies to be a mast cell stabilizer. Can you ever recover from that? Is the MCAS, is it a chronic condition brought on by the benzo withdrawal, and the only solution is to get back on benzodiazepines, or does it go away? Or does it improve? In my case, I am nearly 2 years off now, and it's not gone away entirely. I would love to say it has. It's not gone away entirely, but it's gotten so much better. To the point that not that long ago, I had a meal that had shrimp in it. Shrimp and all shellfish, as you may or may not know, they're very rich in histamine. And I would not even think of having a meal with shrimp in it if it had been, say, a year ago. But I had been doing really well. My symptoms had been really kind of in check, and I decided to give it a shot. And it was okay. Now, I did have, before the meal, one of these diamine oxidase, which is a supplement that we produce naturally, but this is, kind of to give you a little boost. And it's an enzyme that breaks down histamine in your body. So you have one of these before a meal. So I had one of those before I ate the shrimp, and I didn't have any reaction whatsoever. Now, it is important to note that there's this concept that you often hear people talk about when it comes to histamine and MCAS, which is that we kind of have this in our bodies like a bucket of histamine. This is an easy way to think about it, and it can fill up. And then when it fills up with histamine, that's when you actually start feeling the symptoms. It's not before that. It's only when it starts overflowing. And if you're doing things like eating a lot of histamine-rich foods over and over, and you're not taking any supplements like this or anything to mitigate it, then that bucket is going to be overflowing constantly, and you're going to be finding yourself in the midst of symptoms constantly. But if you can get things in check somewhat often, so that bucket is rarely overflowing, then you have kind of this buffer. You've got like a lot of wiggle room. So I've been able to do that with the help of supplements. I don't want to discount that at all. And I'll do another video that's just focused entirely on those supplements that I take and still take, including some that I've stopped taking because I didn't find a noticeable difference with them. And it also can get quite expensive when you start buying these things. It can really start adding up, and then you kind of like add it into your monthly budget, and you realize, wow, it's substantial. So I've got kind of like a core group of supplements that I still take. I don't know what things would be like if I stopped taking those entirely. I haven't experimented with that. But before, my symptoms were primarily, I would have congestion, headache. The telltale sign for me was that my ears would get blocked up. My ears would block up, within 15 minutes often of having like histamine-rich food or having like a drink of beer or something like that. That has really gone away. I mean, I can drink beer. I don't drink as much anymore. I really stopped drinking during benzo withdrawal, and that's because the alcohol was interfering with the withdrawal. But now I've just kind of been able to enjoy life a lot more without alcohol. And, I mean, that's a topic for another video, but, I mean, if I do have a drink now, it's not a problem, whereas before, one single drink would have been a problem. So this is quite remarkable progress when it's a condition that's really supposed to be chronic. So, I mean, this is something that a lot of people are justifiably wondering about, is if you have this issue with your mast cells or histamine, and it seems to have been provoked by benzo withdrawal. Again, I had to mention in the previous video that there's this weird thing because it's also happening during the time of COVID, and a lot of people have had mast cell issues during COVID. So tracing the exact cause, it's hard to say for sure, because I did have COVID infections too, but we know that benzos are mast cell stabilizers. Studies have shown that, and it coincided exactly with the time that I got off benzodiazepines during that withdrawal. That's when I started having these symptoms. So whether it's chronic, whether you have it for life, for me, I guess I still do have it. I can't totally ignore it, but it's something that I don't have to think about as much. And that is, I mean, I can't even describe to you what a relief it is. I mean, keep in mind, this was a thing that developed that was secondary to all the other symptoms I had. You know, akathisia was the worst thing I had dealt with. The depersonalization and derealization, absolutely terrifying. And, you know, I would take an episode of MCAS near on a constant basis rather than having to deal with DPDR stuff again or akathisia. Jesus. I would, gladly be in an episode of having an MCAS reaction or histamine reaction for the rest of my life rather than dealing with akathisia. But the MCAS, this histamine issue was the one that lingered. It's the one that continued after everything else went away. And it was the one that it's like, okay, well, I guess I just have this for life now, unless I get back on benzodiazepines, which I'm not going to do. But now, nearly 2 years, I guess, say, 21 months? July 20, like 21 months. I've got it, what I can say is under control, which that's enough for me. I don't need to go binge drink as much these days. I don't need to binge on some, jalapenos or habaneros. Or these legs are from a bird. I mean, I'm making them a little bit dramatic, but there's a bird called a Senegal thickney. And I was on a trip recently. I saw like a whole colony of them on this island. It's like they're having like a conference, like a reunion, a meeting. They're funny birds because they have this, they're called a thickney because they have a thick knee, but that's a Senegal thickney there. And their eyes, they have kind of these bugged out eyes. They're really funny looking birds. Well, I'd like to hear from more people if you've had, I heard from a couple people, and one of the questions was the reason I made this video, because someone asked whether it goes away. But I'd like to hear from more people, even if it hasn't gone away, whether it has gone away, but just if you've had histamine issues or mast cell issues, and it's come in the wake of benzo withdrawal, getting off of benzodiazepines, I would really like to hear from more people, because it's just, there's not a lot of people talking about it, and there's not been studies done really. And it's just something that's really overlooked, I think.